no tax base to build from. It's a steady fixing broken systems with our few dollars.
Out-migration is an issue in most of the 13 counties we work in. And what we're hoping this will stem some of that, this workforce keeping people local, keeping it. It irritates me when I see the potential here in our region. We have the potential, and then people will hire a contractor from Springs because they have the equipment, they have the people, they can bid on these jobs. But my God, you tell me there aren't mobilization costs in there? That it's not running just a little bit higher? Why can't we invest in our own people, create these jobs, hire locally, and have one heck of a skilled workforce to start building up that core in the community? Young people won't leave. They'll stay, they'll raise a family, they'll send their kids to school, they'll buy a house. Who knows, maybe the electrician, this is my dream, the electrician, will work for someone else for a while and then say, I'm gonna hang my own shingle. Now you have another small business in town. That's my hope with this workforce development. We're also, SCEDD is working on, which is this is total sales pitch, but we're also, shamelessly, we're also looking at a program to encourage small business development. One would hope that we would have tradespeople, but that's still in the early stages. Richard's working on that one.
We need more of these, like those
We truly do.
incubators
We
for,
do. Yep.
people that cannot open a whole office, but they can
Yep.
conduct their business and maybe rent a small office or get it through a grant.
Your economic development, not just broadband.
Yes.
That's just part of it.
Right.
And how might broadband help economic development? I think I could figure that out.
Oh,
What would you say?
let me count the ways.
Yeah.
Well, I work closely on projects with the economic development director in Prowers County, way far east. And she said, we can't get a business to come here without internet. And she's talking about probably maybe 25 to 30 small manufacturing facility, not, Chrysler, because Chrysler isn't doing squat these days, but, we're not even, we're talking just small manufacturing. Small business, how can you, if you're gonna have a small retail shop in a small community, how do you even operate a point of sale or take credit card payments without internet? How do you purchase your inventory? How do you, our schools, how could we enhance our modes of educating our students without broadband, which translates into quality of life? So if you're trying to attract a business to your community, first thing we're gonna look at are your parks, your schools, what do you have? What's your downtown look like? What's your housing look like? And most of that is tied to broadband.
We have internet, but that's not good enough. What you're saying.
Well,
I would assume.
it depends on your type of internet that you're gonna use. So I work from home sometimes. Mary Jo and I were joking around, so that's what your body looks like, because we see each other, on the Brady Bunch screen all the time on Zoom calls. If I didn't have high-speed internet, I couldn't participate in those calls. So I couldn't work for a company in, say, Pueblo and live in in Walsenburg if I didn't have that internet so that I could communicate with my coworkers. Or I couldn't have a conversation with the CEO of a company I'm trying to attract if I couldn't do that virtual call. Or the company that locates here couldn't, is limited by the speed of their internet. So, I mean, for normal email, you know, some people can't. If my husband, we have good internet, so I can't complain, but could he watch a movie on one TV and could I work on another computer? Nope. We're limited by the speed of our internet.
We had a lot of that during COVID.
Yeah.
We had families that would do that. They had to share time between
Mm-hmm.
two kids, what they were doing for their classes, and then the two parents that were working off of Zoom calls.
Yeah.
They had to allocate things around because some of those, all we had out in those areas are fixed wireless. It's limited on how much you can do. Yeah, it's really. I think there's a
I
huge
still live that
Isn't it?
in Pueblo West,
I'm sorry.
because we don't have,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have it all yet. And so that is what I'm out there knocking doors, cause I have to go out and talk to everybody. That is the biggest complaint is, and everybody, well, Pueblo West, no, it's horrible in areas. I mean, you've got better service in Walsenburg than we do in Pueblo West in spots. And so but you really limit it, cause one of the reasons I went to Highline to work, because my previous position, I couldn't work from home, I just couldn't do it. I had to kind of set that to the side because I did not have, when Friday evening came, I couldn't work anymore because the neighborhood was home trying to stream a video, so I couldn't have internet in my house enough in the system for me to finish my work on a Friday evening. So those are the types of things that, yes, the internet is there, people have it, but they can't be functional within their job and create enough of a living for them and their families to make it long-term. And that's kind of a lot of what we're talking about here, I think, just kind of listening through, is how to get that so we can be more comparable with our city cousins, so to speak.
It seems to me these smaller communities, like Wolfeno County, Otero County, Bennett County, especially these rural ones out here, like where I live, and where we have down here, any of those places, if they could get a company to come in with 10 jobs,
Yeah.
that paid even a little over minimum wage, they'd be thrilled to death.
Yeah.
Sure. I think we're missing a huge opportunity of going out and saying, look, we've got cheap housing out here, we've got really good broadband, and you bring in those $100,000 a year jobs that are, the $40, $50 an hour jobs of somebody that's working somewhere else, and you're bringing in those primary dollars then, that then we're gonna get recirculated.
Yeah.
To me, we're missing, I think all the economic development is missing the mark. We need to advertise, it's like, hey, come live in southeastern Colorado.
Sure.
It's a beautiful place to live out here, and affordable housing, and those people that come in like that live like kings.
Yeah.
And they're trying to leave from up north. We gotta be able to catch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had somebody, he worked for us for a while. His family, or his wife's family, was from the eastern Colorado, and her parents went into a nursing home up there, so they wanted to be closer, and they moved up from Albuquerque. But she has a very high level job, like at Lowe's, and they had to have gigabit to the house, and they actually tested, they had to have gigabit. As long as they get gigabit capability, she could work anywhere in the United States.
Yeah, my sister just took a job, same thing. What'd she say, 60% of the time she works remotely wherever she wants in the country, and then travels, she's a librarian, the same sister, and I think of this when I'm in the more remote areas of the county. My sister has a very uncommon, rare disease, a blood disease. It's terminal, slow progressing. She's doing well, but she doctors her doctor is in San Antonio, and she's never been to San Antonio to see the doctor, she's been there, but.
Telemedicine, we're looking at some of that for Gardner, right?
Well, and if you think about it, why not?
Well, it's a lot
Yeah.
more cost effective.
And you get aging populations, especially like, some of these counties out here that you get up in the 70s or whatever like that, and if you've gotta take them all the way up to Pueblo just for the doctor just to, not even physically, they really didn't need to physically look at them, that screen was just fine.
Sure, yeah.
That's so much easier on mom or dad or whoever else like that to do one.
And I think that's going, that I see that in Sioux Falls, we have, I mean, telemedicine, I hardly ever go to the doctor, you know, just get on and say, you know, my ear hurts, my head, you know, okay. You know, for the
I have a local question here. We have a cable that goes over the hills here, to the foothills to, I guess, the San Luis Valley. But we're not connected to it, and we wondered why. And I think it's broadband, would it be?
Well,
Does anyone know that?
There's 3 different lines that run between here and the San Luis Valley. So one is privately owned by a telecom company, a smaller one. One it was the former, what was called EagleNet. The state has some strands on it, and then Zayo now has it. This was a federal thing that happened 2010, 12-ish time frame. And then Century has one, or US West, Quest, Lumen, whatever they go by today. They have a route that runs over there, over the pass.
Oh, how would you know that being out east? Or-
Well, we have facilities here, so like, we serve this building here, I was CCOM. We cover this whole area, and I've been doing telecom for 25 years, so I work real closely. The company Highline, we work together very closely. We work together with both of the telecoms over in the San Luis Valley very closely. It's a small industry, so
Everyone's connected.
yeah, everybody knows everybody.
You know each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I
You're
know
on
the
the
main
same.
salespeople from ZCOM, they're very good friends of mine. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, we work
It's-
together, you have to.
Yeah, it's this
Small
industry. It's very much everybody works together. I mean, you could be head to head, but you're still friends.
Is that all broadband then?
Well, it's broadband and other telecommunications, so
3 different lines.
yeah, there's 2 different lines. So any of those lines are capable of running broadband. Most of those though are more of what I would call a middle mile type. They're middle mile to go from town to town. They're not really set up to hook up to individual houses off of it. It takes a little bit different planning to set that up.
One of the line that I'm talking about washed out in the flood.
Yeah,
Is that the one you?
that's
you know
one of
which-
them. Yes, yeah,
Which one that was?
that's Jade.
Okay. Jade, and who is Jade?
They're out of Alamosa, Blanca Telephone out of Alamosa.
Oh, it's still, and it's maybe not broadband?
It is broadband. They do broadband. They do broadband up at Cuchera. They've gotten several state grants and built
that's
fiber to the home
encouraging.
up there. Yeah, and they do a lot of fiber to the home over in the San Luis Valley too. Yeah, that's again like the owner of that. He and I have known each other for 25 years. We're pretty good friends. We'll get together for lunch 2-3 times a
If they
year.
all have broadband, why don't we have it here?
There is some here. So CCOM has fiber. We have fiber in the town itself. And we do fixed wireless out of here. Again, so there is some. There's the cable TV company down here, Charter. They have it in town. Some of these you get in these rural areas, and it's just like where we are over there in the La Junta area. You get out in those rural areas, it's cost prohibitive. You can't make your investment back. There's not a business case to be made to make it work real well. You can do it with fixed wireless, but to get fiber out there it's just cost prohibitive. And CDOT's not making it the state's not making it any easier right now. I'm on a bandwagon with that one, so.
You are, aren't
Who's
you?
overseeing that? Is that in legislature?
Well, the legislature's seeing it from there's actually 2 bills that are to address it, and both of them got pulled from hearings a week or so ago. One would completely take care of it. CCI, or Colorado Counties Incorporated, was behind it. That would solve it very well. The other one actually wants to make, that the Joint Technology Committee has put forth, they want to make broadband in the middle mile give all of CDOT's assets to the broadband office and put them in charge of selling it. So this would make a legal enterprise in Colorado. They can do that, and then that gets around the Tabor implications. For those of you that are familiar with Tabor, they can get around it, and they can charge and create a revenue source.
Like charging on all your deliveries, right?
Yep, exactly.
A fee, not a tax.
Yeah, this is actually, it's not a tax because it's an enterprise, so they can charge whatever. So, yeah, there's, the industry has big concerns with what's going on with that right now.
I get on this rant about local growth, and John loves CDOT. We've heard each other rant and rave so many times.
Yeah.
So the message that you can take back to your powers that be, we can staff you if you contact me. John already knows this. That's our, and we're talking a pretty quick turnaround with this workforce development, because, next slide. With these CPF, this is kind of dipping our toe in the water as far as, job need, demand. But once the BEAD projects are funded, then we're just gonna need a massive amount of people in construction and telecommunications, and so we wanna get this workforce up, trained, ready, boom. We're looking at some people cringe at this, nonviolent offenders, ex-offenders, or ex-cons. Why not work with the prison system and see if we can get some of these people that are coming out whose job opportunities may be very limited, as far as people willing to hire someone who's been incarcerated. And why can't they start out as a laborer on a construction site, or get your CDL? Let's work, hauling materials from one site to another, and work your way up. We have mechanisms for, providing some supportive services and some job coaching, job counseling through the whole thing, so the employer isn't bearing the responsibility of, upskilling these people. And so, our target is to go for our Plan B source of funding sometime the end of March, beginning of April, so hopefully that'll.
Speak with Representative Matt Martinez, Alamosa about that. I know he's about into commissions for Department of Corrections. He did a lot of work with educating offenders and training them with skills. Basically, if you get out of prison and you can make a good living and support your family, you don't have to deal drugs and steal. And therefore it saves, lots of problems moving forward.
When I was working in South Dakota, there was a housing program that we were running, and they constructed homes, not modular homes, but homes at the prison, one of the prisons in South Dakota. They build them and then transport them to, developers or eligible buyers, and we did that. We bought these homes, and
We got it sitting empty right here. We
Well-
have the prison and the CAM build where we can do that. That's one of my
So-
objectives. is-
we need
Get-
to talk.
And I've got ideas.
We need to
So
talk.
if we could, okay, real quick,
So-
start one here.
So we bought this house, and I'm standing outside this house with one of the houses with the electrician. We're just talking and, standing there, and he said, I used to build these. I'm like, no kidding. So here was a guy who was incarcerated, built the homes when he was incarcerated. Now he's an electrician, working, married, 2 kids,
Sure.
owned his own home, productive, and how differently that could have gone had he not had that opportunity. So
Those
that's.
resources.
Mhm.
There's a huge, I can at least tell you out to the east,
Oh,
huge demand for electricians,
Yeah,
plumbers, CDL drivers. Places can't find CDL drivers, and they would be paying pretty good wages and benefit packages. I've talked to a couple, it's like, we could find somebody, we would hire them,
and we're gonna do that.
that'd be great. That's
So
a good-
spread that word, and if you,
Let's talk.
we're gonna be best friends.
Cool.
We are gonna make magic happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that'll save us there.
So, is that facility vacant?
Yeah, we've got core civic facility right here, the old Werfenau County Correctional Center. You see it right off the interstate. You have Can Built, that was the one that built the manufactured housing right next to it. My strategy there, core civic's weird, the state has gone away from private prisons. Core Civic has said they'll only open one if you'll open all four, but I think you could lean on them there. My strategy is we go to them and we say, okay, private prisons, you are the biggest supporter of locking people up and, anti-marijuana, you name it. They're real against rehabilitation. But we play the opioid card on them and we say, okay, you've got this empty prison in Walsenburg. How's about you donate, or even for $1, to DOC, Colorado Department of Corrections, to do the upkeep and rent it from you. So now you're renting half a prison, so your shareholders are getting money. You get a tax break for this other half that's being donated for rehabilitation. So you use half the prison for rehabilitation. They already have those programs in DOC, STIRT program, you name it. The other half you use as a transport hub like DRDC or Cell House 5, because you have 5 main highways that meet right here in Walsenburg. You can bounce inmates out east to the western slope up to Denver. So it's kind of like a holding pen. Then it makes it in our legislature's best use, because by opening up the prison in Walsenburg, now you're saving millions of dollars on your state budget. And we had, 3 times higher overdoses for opioids in Werfenau than any other county, and you know how bad it is elsewhere. So it would bring in, 100 addiction counselors right into our community that would live here, work here, and have crossover work. But that's one of our
And then we
strategies.
could do job training, instructing affordable housing.
Right there next
Training
to
their
it. I know the owner of that
electrician.
facility too. They turned into a marijuana facility, but it just didn't make it because there's so many grow production and competition
I was
elsewhere,
reading
guess.
an article, it was about Trinidad, how it was legal in New Mexico, that boom, people weren't traveling to
Same
Trinidad.
with Texas and Oklahoma, some of those, they used to come up, Los Animas was the closest, so what they do, they come out of those eastern state, like Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, they drive up to Los Animas, buy their quota for the day, the car full of people, spend the night, buy their quota for the next day, spend a second night, then they buy their quota and go home.
And now they have it everywhere, so,
Yeah.
that was a good thing while people were breaking the law, for lack of another word, because they were just bringing in all this cash into our state, but, I think with the marijuana, you got Trinidad, they have, they've lost so many of those businesses. We've got Werfenau, they were looking at making Werfenau and maybe Los Animas the second. Denver already is the one county that has consumption. So you would have more of a bar atmosphere versus a liquor store is
sure.
what the dispensaries are. And to play on outdoor rec and Werfenau and Los Animas to make it, instead of a spot to go by, a destination to go enjoy the outdoors and smoke cannabis, of course. But I'm a supporter of consumption to regain that tax base in Werfenau and create
It's
some
no
here.
different than a bar.
No, and marijuana, I founded the Colorado Cannabis Growers Association many years ago. So I'm definitely a strong advocate. I brought most of the marijuana into town and created more jobs than anything since the prison left. We built 2 brand new schools in this county, Levita and the new one in Walsenburg, with 2/3 best dollars. So, you know, to the critics, I say, well, we've got brand new high schools and jobs and tax revenue and very little problems. But that has passed. You know, that rush has gone by. I mean, you do the outdoor rec type marketing and stuff. But we have to be quick to figure out where we're gonna find some money from around here.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Cool. Now that we're,
Getting off
That's
getting into the
about
gray area.
workforce.
this is what I do, it's kind of dangerous, and then I walk out of here and it's like, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this. Richard, you do this, Tracy, you do this. And Lisa's not here, and she's probably very thankful she's not. She's the other person in our team. Awesome.
Conversations like this are where stuff happens. though.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I like this kind of a dialogue, you know, a atmosphere to sit in. Yep. But we need broadband to make it happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's my girlfriend, she works for DU in the legal department. She's like, wow. No, the internet sucks down here, you know, you can't, and it's such a, she's like, well, I could work here, but we have to fork over money, get Starlink, or, you know, some solution. Our CCOM's horrible in Gardner, like, I've got, I mean, you can't.
It's actually, I think, we don't serve it up there anymore, we sold to, well, it was Colorado Central Telecom.
Yeah, oh, okay, yeah,
Visionary now, yeah.
but, like, our internet, it was CCOM.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't watch YouTube until 9:30, 10 at night before it stops, you know, freezing it. That's a pretty
Yep.
simple one to operate.
Well, did we solve all the problems in the world?
I
think so.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
And some of us, we get mixed up with this, with the county.
the county and the
and
city,
the
yes,
city, Right.
Oh, we do that a lot.
yes.
Well,
Yeah.
are we good?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a good presentation.
Did you get my
Thanks.
card?
I will give
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I've got her.
Yeah, most definitely.
Get a drink of water and a piece of candy.